if I was just listening and heard someone say like, Bob's your uncle or something, I'd be like, no, my uncle's David and Derek and Robert and Clarence.
What's up, everyone? My name is Freddie. I'm based in Los Angeles, California, and the BuzzFeed UK team sent me a list of British phrases that I have to try to guess the meaning of.
There are definitely some unique phrases in England that I have noticed.
British sayings, as I'm told, are quite unique. I'm assuming that I am going to suck at this.
Since living in the UK, I have had to really change my vocabulary a lot. English is not English everywhere. There is a completely different language over here.
I've been to the UK before. I've studied abroad in London. I've traveled. I also really love watching Love Island.
All right, let's get into it.
The first phrase is, Bob's your uncle. Bob is your uncle. Bob's your uncle.
I have never heard that before in my entire life. What could that mean? Is it like sort of like an I'll be mothered, but like reverse? So instead of like I'll pour you tea, it's like, well, you're my uncle, so you serve me now. I don't know.
Maybe that means you're boring. Like you're as boring as your Uncle Bob. I'm sorry to all the Bob uncles out there.
An origin of this is probably like a baby was born, they don't know whose kid it is, but they decided the uncle needs to look after it, and then they said, here you go, Bob is your uncle now.
So if you were telling a story and it was like one thing leads to the other and then Bob's your uncle, blah, blah, blah happens. Like that's kind of the way I know this phrase. And there you have it. Oh! One down. Okay.
And there you have it? That's what it means? Bob's your uncle. And there you have it. What?
How do you get to my house? Oh, you take a right, you take a left, and then you go up the stairs and Bob's your uncle. That's so weird. Why? How did that come about?
Oh, this is not starting off good.
I'll have a butcher's.
I'll have a butcher's.
Does it mean like cutting someone out of your life? That's what I wish it meant.
That is when you're ordering at a restaurant. You don't know what slab of meat you want, so you decide to let the butcher decide. So you go, I don't really know what I'm feeling today. I'll just have the butcher's.
Maybe a beef hamburger? I'm thinking like, I'll have a butcher's. Yeah, I'll have a burger.
Is it food? I feel like it's food. Like I'll have a sandwich. Well, I will have what she is having.
No, it's when you see like 10 guys that you like, and they're each different jobs, and one's a doctor, one's a lawyer, and then one's a butcher, and the butcher's the hottest. So then you go, ooh, I'll have the butcher.
I'll take a look? What?
I'll take a look. Oh, like I'll take a gander. I'll take a butcher's. Weird, okay.
Cockney rhyming slang, it's the weirdest thing. So come have a look all because of a butcher. So I didn't even know a butcher had a hook. Doesn't he have like a knife?
Maybe butchers look a lot more than I think they do.
To me, it would be like, you need to get a butcher's. Butcher's knife, life, get a life.
It's all gone tits up.
First of all, if I said that as a child, my mom would slap me across the face. Even if we said like all gone breasts up or all gone boobs up.
It's all gone tits up. I think that's like, it's all gone to hell. Like something's going wrong.
It's rather funny, especially that we're just saying tits.
We're trying to do this, and then like it ends up with the house on fire and like 3 people getting like, well, that's gone tits up.
Like essentially the Titanic, you know, everything was going good and then it all went tits up.
It's all gone wrong. Yay! Ding, 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 ding.
One of my friends growing up would say like, it's all tits to the wind. As in like, here we are, it's all gone wrong. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a very British thing for you guys to put like tits in a phrase that you would use.
The next one is, we're having a right old knees up.
We're having a right old knees up.
We're having a right old knee ups. Is that like a kickback? Like, I'm assuming, you know, you put your knee up, you chill?
The first thing I think of, I'm trying to picture myself saying this phrase. If my knees are up, but I have a feeling this is not about sex.
It could be like scandalous, right? You're having a right old knees up. Or it could be just like you're taking a nap.
I think that means we're having a good time. We're having a party. Okay, I'm gonna give myself that one.
We're having a party. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, that's the same thing. We're having a party, we're getting kneed up. Think before you speak.
It was Bog Standard. Never heard of this before.
I don't know what the word bog standard means, or is it bogue? I don't know. For some reason, it's having a connotation to me of just being like, meh.
I think that's like what we would say here would be like, oh, it was good enough for government work.
I know what a bog is from a video we did where an American and a Brit had to swim in a bog. And it was muddy and murky and nasty and cold. By my deductive reasoning, it's bog standard means it's disgusting. Oh, so the word bog is just thrown in there just to be British and fun and kooky.
The next phrase is, you've made a dog's dinner of that.
Okay, I feel like that means you either made something worse or better.
I've never heard this before, but the inclination makes me feel like you've made a mess of it.
Or it means the opposite, like something positive that a dog would be thankful for. I think I'm thinking about this too much.
If you haven't eaten everything and you want to take some of it home, we call that a doggy bag. If you've made a dog's meal out of it, it means that there's like enough for leftovers to give to your dog afterwards.
I feel like dogs' dinner doesn't last too long. Yeah, I think it's like when eating food, it's like, man, you killed that. Like, man, you cleaned your plate. Oh, nope, completely wrong. It's, you've made a huge mess of that situation.
I'm actually surprised I've never heard that one before because I seem to make messes of lots of situations.
Do you fancy a cheeky Nando's?
Do you fancy a cheeky Nando's? Oh, do you fancy a cheeky Nando's? Oh, do you fancy a cheeky Nando's? Do you fancy a cheeky Nando's? It's getting worse. I think I should stop.
Now, Nando's. I was taken to Nando's. Isn't that a restaurant? I was taken there, but does it mean something else?
I'm gonna say that phrase means, do you want to go on a date? I don't know why I keep inflecting my voice like that. I just feel like it's very British.
Do you fancy a cheeky Nando's? Yes, I do. I fancy a non-cheeky Nando's. I fancy the cheekiest Nando's. I love cheeky Nando's.
So like, do you fancy a cheeky Nando's? It's like, ooh, do you want to get like a really good like fast food chicken at like 2 a.m. in the morning?
I feel like I'm gonna be doing the Google Translate version of this because it's not gonna be quite right, but it's gonna be kinda right. Would you like a little, piece of chicken?
Oh my god, I'm doing great.
Yeah, well, fancy cheeky Nando's. Let's go to Nando's. I kinda got there. I'm gonna give myself a half point. Hopefully the editor of this gives me more than that.
Your bum's out the window. I'm gonna assume that means like you're showing your ass, like calm down.
I'm going to go up on a limb and guess that this doesn't literally mean that your bum is out the window. It's like you're talking out of your ass. Sorry, it's just a very funny visual.
I feel like means that you're drawing attention to yourself, that you're kind of like being the ass, not in a positive way.
You are so drunk, you don't even realize that your bum is out the window. So kind of. You're so drunk, you're talking absolute nonsense.
Okay, that makes sense, I think.
I just don't know why your butt being out of a window has anything to do with talking nonsense. The window isn't like the level of sense or nonsensical. I'm overthinking this one.
A up.
A up.
A up. A up.
those are just sounds that are next to each other. Those aren't words. You didn't give me words.
All I can imagine is like what you would text someone late night, be like, "Hey, up."
I'm gonna say it's like how we say in America, "Hey, hey,
Hey, hey. Maybe that's what that means? Oh, no, it means hello, how are you? Okay. Oh, that's kind of like saying what's up, right?
Yeah, it's like, hey up, what's up? American England, not so different.
I mean, I've heard like, "You all right?" and like, "You okay?" but never, "Hey, up."
You make a better door than a window."
Ouch, that sounds like an insult.
People say like the eyes are the window to the soul.
You're a complicated person because you're more of a door than a window. I can't even see anything.
Isn't that just telling someone to move? Yeah, because I can't see through you like I could a window, but I can move you like a door.
You're blocking my view. Move aside. So it's like pretty literal.
I've heard that often just because I'm tall. And so people stand behind me and they'll be like, "Hey, you make a better door than a window." And I'll be like,
Okay, so I would probably rate my performance maybe like a 60 out of 100%.
I've learned that these British phrases are honestly just as cool as the people that are in the UK. Some of them make like very direct sense to me, and some of the phrases I'm like,
But there are a lot of curveballs, especially A up was a curveball. I've never heard anyone say that before.
"All right, mate, you've made a dog's dinner of that." That's my favorite accent to try to do. I think I nailed it.
So fun. Thanks, BuzzFeed UK.